Hey everybody, Strider's back with another daily high ELO casting, and again I am joined by Eskimo.
Hi everybody.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been playing LoL for a couple of years, but my first kick into competitive gaming started with Super Smash Bros. Melee, where I made a name for myself as one of the lamest players to ever play in the tournament scene.
Yay for Ice Climber incidents.
Indeed, I played as the Ice Climbers, and I gained renown under the name of Wobbles for utilizing an infinite that was not only extremely easy to do, but stupid to watch.
But it always worked.
But it did work. And now I'm casting LoL with my buddy Strider.
Yep. I don't know how this happened.
There was alcohol involved.
So much alcohol. Alright, so the two teams. This will be interesting. I really want to see how well Diana does with Rumble in the jungle I actually have not seen Rumble in the jungle. So I'm interested to see if he can even pull it off.
He does.
I'm sure he can.
He has AoE clearing power with the Flame Spitter, but the question is if it's going to be a quick clear and if he's going to be able to keep moving around, because he doesn't have actual innate sustain.
He has the scrap shield that'll help him move from camp to camp, but he'll also need that just that shield for the camps. It's on a pretty low cooldown, but he probably will have to level it a couple times. I'm not sure how powerful his ganking potential is going to be, especially against like a Vladimir and a Jayce.
On the other hand, bottom lane has support Gangplank.
Yeah,
hanging out with Graves.
Or support Jayce. Probably Gangplank.
He's packing the exhaust. And I think 2 guns bottom lane better than 1.
Of course. More pistols. We must utilize all the pistols. Graves has 2 pistols into 1.
Alright, now it is true that blue team is going to have a lot of damage. Every person on their team just wreaks damage, Taric being one of the highest damage supports, especially considering his auras that boost that damage across the board.
Yeah, and that mixed with Sivir's ultimate is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Not only are they going to move really, really fast, in conjunction with Taric, they're going to have a lot of extra armor, they're going to have extra AD and AP. It's just going to be absolutely ridiculous. So I'm a little worried for the red team. They do have a little bit of initiation themselves, but they don't have much disengage. So I'm a tad bit worried about that. They have their own like personal disengages, but that's about it. Being able to disengage from 5 is typically something you need like a Janna for, or something along those lines. So I'm a little bit worried about the red team and how they're going to be able to pull this off. But it's definitely possible for them to do that. Malphite in the jungle is a little bit weaker than Malphite up top, but Darius up top is extremely terrifying, as always.
Indeed he is, and it doesn't look like we're going to be getting any actual action unless somebody overextends horribly. Right now, blue team's playing a little more passive, keeping an eye out for the steal, while Rumble in the jungle is starting over on the left side, up near goal.
Minions have spawned.
Taric's keeping an eye on the red team, noticing that they're there, so they're pretty much positive that the red team is just playing defensively and they're not going to engage. And this is really good news for the Rumble, like I said. It looks like he's not having any problems so far, though. Yeah.
He had a pretty excellent leash from his allies.
Exactly. They do have quite a bit of an AoE leash going on there for him.
Indeed they do.
So it'll be interesting how that all turns out. Malphite's quite a bit slower, but he's getting a pretty nice leash and some extra damage from Graves.
And he is, as we know, an extremely solid jungler, particularly with his ganks. Hold on to that. We have a little bit of an engage going on bottom. Just a bit of poking, really. The dazzle from Taric goes on to Graves.
Great exchange coming out for the blue team. They definitely came up on top, already forcing a health potion from the Gangplank and throwing down a little bit of damage onto the Graves. And this Boomerang Blade is going to be extremely powerful because there's no healers on bottom lane except for the oranges from Gangplank, which only heals himself. So I do definitely expect Graves to go probably a Doran's Blade, maybe too. It just kind of depends on how offensive the Taric and Sivir want to be. Sivir's getting destroyed here by the parlays, though. I'm interested. I don't know if I would assume she gets Spell Shield next.
Yes.
To help counteract that.
That is extremely likely. Right now she's eating too many gunshots. The ability to shield that harass is also going to extend the lifespan of her boomerang blade harass, but Gangplank, very wise, waits it out. Buckshot actually comes down after the spell shield is up. Graves gets exhausted, so that's a summoner down for blue team.
Yeah, that was probably a waste of an exhaust, but it went down about the same time as the flash came out. Boy, Breaking coming up top.
We have Jayce opening up the gate. A little late for his own assistance, and Darius does not actually take that much damage at all. Bottom lane, we have a gank coming in from Rumble, picks up first blood, but then ends up giving the kill to Gangplank after the Graves ignite and tower shots take him down.
Which is crazy, because I'm actually surprised, because it looks like Graves did some damage to him after the fact that it died, so it might have just been...
I'm going to have to go with the Grog-soaked blade.
Yeah, it might have
done that last tick right before the tower shot finished him off and triggered it as Gangplank's kill. And it's a good thing Gangplank got that kill post-death, because that keeps Graves from picking up a double buff.
And that is terrifying. You definitely don't want Graves to have any form of buffs this early on in the game, especially a blue buff with a red buff.
Mid lane, bit of action. Diana versus Vlad right now. While the sustain isn't high, she wants to be extremely aggressive. And Taric pinging out, signifying some counter jungling going on from Malphite over at the Wraiths.
Yeah. I don't know how well Diana's going to do. She is proving to throw on quite a bit of harass, but she is out of mana now, so she's going to just continue to lose in the exchanges at this point. Taric poking out just to show his presence, say, hey, don't mess with my mid-champion. He is going to recall, and I think Vlad called the bluff, because Diana still didn't have any mana, so even if they did engage onto him, he'd be able to get out with no problems at all.
Indeed, he can Sanguine Pool on reaction through the Dazzle. No trouble there. He knows Diana doesn't have enough mana to fight for real, so any damage would be really superfluous in the face of his transfusion.
Definitely.
Meanwhile, Rumble storming the front in mid. Starts laying down Flame Spitter damage. The Ignite comes in from Vlad at the same time that Malphite shows his face. He pops in, does some damage, and Vlad picks up the kill onto Rumble. That's not going to make his mid very happy.
Yeah, and what really sucked is that Rumble really wanted to get off his electromagnetic harpoons, but there was a minion just following right behind him the whole time, and was at full health, so even throwing one wouldn't have killed that minion, and he was unable to slow anybody down, and or pick up that kill. So very unfortunate, but you know, every once in a while those minions do a lot of work, a lot more work than you expect them to do.
It's the sort of thing you won't see showing up on any kind of scoreboard as statistic, but can completely change the tide of a fight.
Yeah. Creep blocking is huge as well. Just creeps blocking your path can be an extreme nuisance. Red team has pinged out the blue team, but they are already back in bottom, so it's not really going to be an issue. They were just saying that they're missing. Diana is back with full mana. She is level 6 now, before the Vlad, which is kind of surprising.
She has the possibility from some significant harass, but we take a look at Vladimir's experience. He does hit 6 right now, so they're back to even right there.
And that was her only real ability to move in on him, but she is going in for an engage. The troll pool does come out.
But the Pale Cascade giving her a shield to make sure she doesn't take much damage from that initiation, and she's brought him down pretty significantly. She has her Ignite up, and she has a lot of abilities. Malphite's coming in from beneath her, but he's not quite level 6, so another shield coming up from her. She's going to be able to shrug off that harass pretty nicely.
Definitely. I think Jayce is an excellent pick against Darius, because once Darius uses his Apprehend, Jayce can just hammer smash him in the face, right back away, not really being able to give him the opportunity to do a lot of damage. We've already saw that earlier in the game, but I think we can see if, yeah, he's not going to actually transfer back, then he's just going to
Alright, we have Diana being opened on by Malphite, still not quite level 6. Vlad wants to get in there and do some work, but he knows her burst is pretty high, and he knows she has a shield, so he's just going to take the attrition advantage for right now and just move on with his life, continuing lane dominance.
Rumble gets spotted out by this red ward down here, so it prevents him from actually ganking. And yeah, so they're extremely prepared. They are a little bit zoned, but there's not too much creeps dying on the blue side right now, so it's not going to be too big of a deal.
So what do you think about Vlad and Malphite combining together? There are a couple advantages to that, I think.
Yeah, there's a huge advantage because the unstoppable force coming out from Malphite is going to provide a lot of CC, and then that's going to give Vlad a perfect opportunity to just kind of run in there and throw down his ultimate, or do it the other way around. Have Vlad kind of charge in there as much as he can, get his ultimate down, followed up by the unstoppable force from over the wall or out of the bush.
We have a dazzle coming on to Taric, but Gangplank pops Ray's morale. Blue team decides we aren't going to start this little lane skirmish.
Yeah, they really didn't want to do that. They're doing surprisingly well, the red team is. I'm actually really surprised about that. I thought they were going to be pretty much zoned the whole time, but Gangplank just does so much harass, and he's able to do a lot of it as it's shown.
Well, there's also to consider that his Ray's morale is going to boost the effectiveness of Graves' buckshot. The fact that he has an innate attack speed steroid is going to further benefit from the flat AD increase.
Exactly.
And the True Grit is going to help mitigate just a little bit the effectiveness of that shatter. So it looks like their team, their little bottom lane team composition is surprisingly good. Taric throws in the dazzle onto Gangplank, saves his orange, sees nothing's going to come of that. And Vlad and Diana, again, with a little slap fight. She does her Luna Rush back in, hits another Crescent Strike. Vlad's getting low, but we know that as long as he doesn't actually die, it doesn't mean much. Simultaneously, pretty heavy chunk of damage coming in from Jayce onto Darius in that exchange.
Jayce is doing a wonderful job right now. Jayce is at 70 creep kills as opposed to Darius' 51, so 20 ahead there, and that's going to just... If that continues to snowball in favor of Jayce, it's going to be extremely dangerous.
Alright, we have a simultaneous lane gank coming in from red and blue team. Malphite is coming in with blue buff and red buff at the exact same time that Rumble comes in. The synchrony of ult between Gangplank and Unstoppable Force does a lot. Graves' ultimate coming in. Malphite managing to pick up the kill onto Rumble. Tries to Q Sivir, she spell shields it, but that's a big advantage to red team.
Diana's coming in, she's going to try to get these double buffs. Misses the Crescent Strike.
Doesn't give her the opportunity to start linking ultimate into Moonfall and do her long string of bursty magic damage. But Darius, seeing the threat of a potential dragon, decides after his recall he's going to come bottom lane so that he can potentially help with any kind of dragon fight.
And it doesn't look like they're actually going to go for a dragon, which is a little surprising since they did lose the fight, but they scared them away enough. They didn't have the smite from Rumble at the time, but they could be zoning it at any time now.
Alright, we have the red ping. They anticipated Diana coming in. I think they expected her to face check into that brush, though. They both got a little hasty going the same way, but...
Yeah, I think she was a little bit too smart for that. Which is definitely a good idea, but... She goes in onto this Vladimir right away. She gets ultimate, and now the pool coming down, being able to pick up the kill without any problems whatsoever, using it ignited and taking tower shots. He was able to pull under one of the tower shots, preventing damage going in.
Right now we have a miniature skirmish between Jayce and Darius. Darius, I guess, a little surprised that he's not actually able to really hurt Jayce. Which is surprising because that's what Darius does. He hurts people. If he isn't doing that...
He makes you bleed, and that's not nice.
No, it's not.
It hurts sometimes.
Take a look at the difference between Vlad and Diana right now. Vlad is up 91 to 74. He's got 2 kills and 2 levels up on Diana. That's only going to get worse with the combination of the Woda that's soon to come up. Taric goes in onto Graves, but not a lot comes out of it. He drops him down to half health. The exhaust goes on to Graves. Malphite's coming with the flank. Unstoppable Force picking up Sivir along with Graves' ultimate. Massive damage. Big boost to Graves.
Yeah, that collateral damage did so much collateral damage. It was ridiculous.
Did indeed. And right now, we have to give the unequivocal advantage to the red team. Diana's laying down all her damage onto Vlad, but he just doesn't really want to die, and he does a lot of his own. The slow coming in from Malphite is going to put a lot of hurt onto Diana. Vlad's chasing, but he doesn't want to get too close in case he accidentally eats some burst. Gangplank ult assisting from across the map. Malphite, the conjunction of his red and the Q is just keeping Diana slowed. She went the long way around. He gets another Q. Pale's Cascade pops a shield. Malphite gets the E to finish.
With absolutely no issues whatsoever. He was more than half health, both of them were, and that was just, I don't know, that wasn't I don't think Diana should have used her second Lunar Rush into Vlad. She took a tower shot from it, and then once that happened, she saw the Malphite come in, and that was basically the start of her demise.
Dazzle goes down onto Graves. Rumble is coming in from above. The long range of that ultimate is absolutely nasty, but Gangplank looks like he's going to be able to get away without any problems. No finishing boomerang blade coming in from Sivir, so he is going to Yarharhar his way to safety. Meanwhile, Vlad looping around from the jungle. They have a Warden Tribush. They should know, but Sivir and Taric are so overextended. Is he going to be able to pick it up? He eats the Dazzle, doesn't Sanguine Pool through it, and just decides to go back to mid and keep pressing his advantage there.
Yeah, just showing his presence down there really kind of scares the blue team away. They are still being extremely aggressive, which is kind of surprising. He did back off in the long run, and I think they saw that from this little bit of vision they have left over from the ward.
That's entirely possible. Now we have them clustering again down in bottom lane. Are they actually fighting? It looks like they are. Gangplank comes charging in. Sivir pops her ultimate. Collateral damage goes down. Doesn't hurt as much as it needs to. And Graves, with the quick draw buckshot, flashes back. Dies to Taric, but Taric is in deep trouble. Is Malphite? Malphite's going to pick it up. No gold for the Pirate, except that of assists.
That is not good. Trading 2 for 1 is definitely not something the blue team wants to do when they're already behind. Trading 2 for 1 in favor of the blue team would be acceptable because it would help diminish their gold, their gold disadvantage.
But unfortunately, that kill ended up going to Taric, so not a lot of benefit there. We're looking at the power of that revolver on Vladimir. He's already got innate sustain. He doesn't need more spell vamp on top of it, but you know what? He's got it, and he is definitely outlasting Diana in this war of attrition.
Yeah, and even with her Negatron cloak, she's still not able to evenly trade with the sustain and the Sork shoes coming out from Vladimir. Vladimir's just doing a wonderful job being able to counteract her entire build so far. And I don't know what Diana's going to be able to do at this point. She went really aggressive, didn't really show that she did much of anything, and then also got ganked quite a few times from this Malphite. Malphite's just showing an insane amount of map presence right now, and it's really hard to just get away from that type of fight, especially when you're an AP carry that doesn't have any getaway maneuver. She has a gap closer, but she can't really close a gap to her own minions or her own tower, which is really impressive.
We have Diana going in onto Vladimir. He is laying down a decent amount of damage, but the Ignite and the Hemoplague are both ticking down. Vlad pops his Ghost. He goes in there, he pops another Transfusion. Sanguine Pool's gonna go up. Rumble flashes in, Flame Spitter and his Lance gonna finish him off. A nice double play from the two of them. Diana using her Lunar Rush to that minion. She needs to get back to her tower ASAP. She knows danger is coming, but does she know exactly where from? Malphite, Unstoppable Force coming in, red buff and his ability sticking down. Darius picks up the kill between his ultimate and the bleed. And so that's going to be, that is a 2 for 1 exchange in favor of blue team.
Yeah, and that's really good. That Apprehend gave Diana a little bit more time to survive on that fight, so Malphite was basically either forced to go in or just die for nothing.
We have a serious tower dive going down. Dazzle Shatter Radiance hitting onto Graves, but Sivir has taken a lot of damage. The exhaust is onto Graves, the tower's onto Sivir. Sivir drops, Gangplank gets the gold, Sivir gets the gold for Graves.
Yeah,
and an even exchange in bottom lane, but Red's ahead. Yeah. They don't need to make a damage character like Gangplank get time to farm for himself.
Definitely not. And I think it's really bad that Graves missed that collateral damage. If he would have nailed that, he wouldn't have even died. And so hopefully he'll be able to position it a little bit better next time and not kind of split field goal that particular spell, because that's obviously his most damaging ability, and missing the ultimate like that is not something he wants to do on a regular basis, especially when team fights start.
Definitely unfortunate.
Yeah. So we did die for that little mistake, but I'm sure he learned from it. I'm sure he knows what exactly happened. Because Sivir wasn't really doing much of juking. She was going in a direct line. It was just, you know, not parallel to where Graves was going.
Possibly a misclick or something to that effect. Vlad is starting to wander down bottom. Well, you know that Malphite's up top. Rumble is wandering through his own jungle. Vlad drop a ward into that dragon pit, or is he just hanging out? No, he's going to start dragon all on his own. Perhaps they know that blue team doesn't have any kind of vision on it.
Yeah, neither team actually does.
Now they know.
Yeah, Yeah,
they've got a pretty substantial amount of damage. Their jungler's there with his smite. Rumble leaves, knows he's not going to be able to do anything over in that area. Meanwhile, Jayce getting ganked by Diana, ties the hammer swing with the apprehend. The dunk comes in, but he dies to ignite.
Very unfortunate, but that was a perfect time to apprehend with the hammer smash. Absolutely ridiculous. We've seen it try to pull it off a few times, but it just wasn't working. Before, when he was doing the apprehend, it was just a little bit too early.
Now we have the perfect conjunction, like you said. Hemoplague mixing with Unstoppable Force, doing a lot of AoE damage. Tides of Blood coming in, helping pick up Rumble. And is Diana going to chase? She's got a potential double kill, but she's got to play her cards right. She does! Her Crescent Strike picking up a double kill, a much needed boost in funds for Diana. Those were her first 2 kills of the game, in fact.
Yeah, and that's definitely useful. She's looks like she's going for the early Abyssal Scepter. She had to get those Doran rings to really help with her mana consumption, as well as a little bit of sustain from the health. But Red Team's just going to hammer away at this tower. They were able to pick up the Sivir and just push that tower, and there's nothing that they can do about it at this point. They do have both bottom towers down, and now they're going to have free reign on Dragon, and since the Baron fight's probably not going to start for another 5 or 10 minutes, I think Red is going to get the next Dragon really easily, and then go back by and then set up for a Baron dance, and that's going to be the next major goal for the Red Team.
Do you think Vlad can still be shut down? We know he's a late game champ, and you have to stop him early before his heals get big. Do you think it's too late for the blue team, or do you think he's too strong?
I don't necessarily think he's too strong quite yet. He has 150 CS and 2 kills, 2 assists, but it's not at the point where it's unbearable. He's not quite there. He can be shut down. The only thing is that there's 3 ignites on the red team, or on the blue team, and that's going to really hurt him in fights if he gets just chain ignited. I don't think it's going to happen. It's really hard to coordinate that type of stuff in a solo queue match for sure, but it's possible. And the fact that makes it possible means that he can be shut down, but I don't see it happening.
Nice little dodge on Darius, dodging the shockwave from the gate. Yeah. Tiny little things like that that make him feel good about himself.
Definitely increases morale just a little bit, since he is kind of getting smashed top lane right now. He's down by 50 creep kills at this point, and that's not good at all. He
has an extra kill to his name, but you know what? Red Team has a dragon, and they also picked up bottom and mid tower, so that's also quite a hefty move. Exactly. Starting a fight.
It's down by 1,200 gold, and it's so easy for Jayce to initiate on those fights. And the Crescent.
Diana coming in top lane, completely whiffing everything. Gate from Jayce, giving him move speed. Switching from the Mercury Cannon to the Hammer, that's going to give him even more move speed. And he gets the gate again. He is extremely mobile. He is line backing his way into their base. He does not want to take damage from any characters. He stumbles onto Rumble. He is extremely low health. He's going to gate away again. There are minions there to block tower aggro, and the equalizer doesn't quite connect. But while that's happening, Diana picks up a kill on Vlad in the jungle. Jayce has done a complete circuit, and you know what? While all that's happening, Taric gets picked up bottom lane by the combo of Malphite and Gangplank. Jayce being the most distracting champion on the field of justice in this match.
That is not good times. It's really demoralizing when you have somebody of that.
We have Graves coming in from above. I don't know if he's going to be able to survive Diana's burst. She goes straight in. She hits him with... No, she does not get the ignite. That's Graves' ignite going down onto her. Pops her Crescent Strike onto Malphite while he's chasing Rumble to hope and scare him off. But Malphite is not afraid. That blue buff's going to let him spam his Qs and his E's on even slow, but she does burst him down. A sudden turnaround while Scumbag Red Team flees. We have Jayce opening up onto Sivir. He's expecting to be able to kill her, but her Ricochet attack actually manages to crit on that last swing. Graves goes in for a desperate attempt to try and pick up a kill, and that's exactly the kind of disorganized play that allows a cocky team to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah, it's real. It's so real. Anything can happen in solo queue matches, especially with disorganization between your teammates, not being able to coordinate what you need to do. Getting baited is really difficult. It does happen at times. And Diana's just kind of praying to the gods, trying to hope for this win. I don't know if it's going to happen yet. They do see that dragon is still down, but it is up pretty soon. Red team does have the timer on it, as well as a ward to know if the blue team is going to initiate, and I think it's going to be up here in about 2 minutes. Sorry, 2 minutes. It's going to be up in about 2 minutes, I think. So it'll be interesting to see who actually takes control of that. I still think it's going to be the red team overall. They have a much larger team fight presence with their initiation. But like I said, once it gets later in the game, that Sivir Taric combo, along with Rumble and Diana, they have so much initiation. It's really hard. They don't have like all the CC that you would normally see in an initiation team, but it's still extremely high just because they're so mobile. They're basically running a double assassin comp at this point.
Right there, we've got Taric laying down the pink ward, clearing out the vision of the dragon pit for red team. Red team knows they're there. Rumble's creating a front line, laying down the equalizer along with Diana. A lot of burst going on to Vladimir. He dies, barely manages to get Hemoplague off. Gangplank is being followed onto his tower. He drops over on the left side. We have Jayce using his gate to try and help kite away from Darius, Sivir, and Taric. But they're fine with that. They want red team to be away. They want to pick up this dragon and start bringing themselves back into gold range for success.
Definitely. They're at 4,000 gold deficit now. They were about 8 earlier, so they've definitely come back into this game with absolutely no problems, and that's going to shrink their lead down to 3 for the red team. So I don't know what red team is actually planning on doing to help win this game. It looks like most of their presence was early game, which was a little bit surprising to me. I didn't expect their early game presence to be as powerful as it was. Lateral damage coming out from Graves, just trying to thwart them away from the tower, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Apprehension barely missing. That would have been a dead Graves.
You know what, I think they might have overstayed their welcome. Jayce comes charging in, he feeds off. Unstoppable Force goes down onto Darius. Exhaust goes down onto Sivir. Darius in there trying to do as much as he can. He manages to pick up Graves with all of the dots and the execute. And they're going to continue chasing after they have the Shurelius popped from Gangplank. He's going in. He wants to shoot somebody. He goes for Taric, slows him down, but now they realize it's only 2 against 3. Malphite is in there, tanking like a boss, but there is kiting power. Vlad is back up. Can he get some damage down? He doesn't quite have a Paralyzer or slow. Sanguine Pool to avoid the equalizer. Sivir ult is up, and that's going to help them kite, but they're going back in. They know they have a little bit of a range advantage with the Sivir poke.
Definitely, and they do have the movement speed to help kite quite a bit. So wonderful play by the blue team, being able, I mean, the cockiness definitely worked both ways. It looks like Jayce might be able to catch up.
Diana fires her Crescent Strike a little too close. Ends up whiffing.
Yes.
The Ignite ends up finishing him off, though, along with the Lunar Rush. So that's going to be a little 1-for-1 right there between the two of them.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how much of a carry Jayce is going to be since he's primarily building tank. But Diana, later on in the game, she's just going to get more and more powerful. She's great at assassinating champions, as you've already seen. If she can get onto that Graves, it's just going to be an instant kill. I think he needs to get, after he finishes his...
Phantom Dancer?
Yes, the Phantom Dancer. There we go. That's the word.
I'm actually
Once he finishes the Phantom Dancer, I'm sure he'll probably get a Negatron Cloak.
I'm a little surprised he didn't opt for a Bloodthirster over the Infinity Edge, since he was winning primarily off the burst of buckshot and collateral damage, and he doesn't have a healer of his own.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised there's no Bloodthirster coming from him.
Well, later on in the game, it doesn't really help as much to have that Infinity Edge. That burst damage you get is not nearly as high, because that's when people start getting the armor once you feel that there's a problem champion. So having that sustained DPS throughout long extended fights, which, as we've already seen, has been happening quite a bit, that Infinity Edge is going to prove to be much more powerful.
Fair enough. There is no Frozen Heart coming out from the blue team. There's Randuin's on Darius, and that's going to provide an attack speed slow, but as it is, there is no form of slow against the power of that Zeal Infinity Edge quick draw combo for fast, heavy hitting crits.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be really interesting to see, because the red team has 2 Frozen Hearts. I think that might have been a slight oversight on their team, because usually you don't need to, especially when you have a Malphite. he's really tanky, and especially with that Frozen Heart, he's going to be in the middle of the team fight. I don't know if that was the best option for Jayce at this point, but you never know. It looks like he is primarily going Bruiser over kind of like a ranged AD carry type of role. So,
what I do find a little surprising is that Malphite is actually 2 levels beneath Rumble. Rumble, even though Malphite has 8 kills, 3 assists, and more CS, Rumble is somehow 2 levels ahead of him.
Rumble must have just been camping lanes and we missed it somehow. I'm not exactly sure how that happened, but it is definitely there. And Shock Blast just wrecking everybody in that bush. It's not going to do enough. Oh, the Apprehend coming out onto the Vlad, now the ultimate coming out from the Gangplank.
There's a bit of a disengage, but the combination of Shockwave and Furuya, that's going to give Malphite the boost. He needs to get in there. Diana goes balls deep onto Vlad. Rumble ultimate going down. Malphite ult going down. Apprehend onto Graves, but Darius seems to be confused over who he wants to kill. Sivir manages to pick up Malphite. They're split up. Graves survives. Gangplank survives. There's not a lot they're going to be able to do to stop this tower from going down, I don't think. Jayce poking from the wings, trying to do a little bit of effort.
Yeah,
but it looks like he's going to get zoned out too. And Taric runs in with the Dazzle. They might be going in a little too deep. Jayce manages to pick up a kill on Taric, but he dies as well. And you know, now that his ult is down, I don't know if Taric is going to be as important to the war effort. Oh, we have another dunk coming in onto Graves. Technically called the Noxian Guillotine, but it's a dunk.
I think it's more commonly known as the dunk.
He was the original dunk master. Jarvan, the 4th, came in at a close second for dunking, but I think Darius...
Jax was a good dunker, though.
Yeah, but I think Darius has usurped them all.
Yeah.
That move, that's a dunk. I don't know what else to say.
That's all it is. It's less of a guillotine, more of a dunk. But yeah, Diana did a great job sucking everybody in with that Moonfall, setting up perfectly for the Rumble equalizer, and that's exactly what happened. She was able to just keep people inside of that one little tiny area of Rumble's equalizer, and that just provided way too much damage for the red team. It forced them to disengage. Blue team got a little bit too cocky and went in between 2 towers. They were eventually able to pick it up, and it looks like blue team might be setting up for Baron. The red team's ward that was there just wore out, and so I don't know if they saw them or not. They might have, but I think it went out before they even showed presence.
It looks like they're suspicious.
Yeah, they're definitely suspicious of it.
And they see this action coming up top lane. Jayce is coming into flank, fires a little shockwave. They are well positioned to start a fight with Diana being down underneath them.
Yeah, and Diana's completely separated from the team. Gangplank has pink eyes, so he's able to clear all the wards out that the blue team might have at Baron, which they didn't have any at the time. And she face checks that. No, she doesn't.
She fires her Crescent Strike, realizes it connects, and
they do have vision of those people when they're in the brush.
Another little Crescent Strike. Vlad coming in from the side. Aurelius popped unstoppable, of course. Equalizer going down in the middle. Collateral damage is dropped. It looks like 3 kills for the red team. Graves finally goes down to Diana. Sivir's all by herself. She gets picked up. A 4-for-1 exchange in a fast and brutal battle. Oh, an ace.
Yeah.
Thank you, announcer.
5-for-1, but oh man, the red team was so low. If they could have just focused on one of those champions and killed them, it would have drastically changed the tide of the battle, being able to prevent a lot of damage going on to that Sivir at the end. I think Sivir definitely had the potential to get up a quad kill there at that point.
You know, what you were talking about earlier, that combination of Emo Plague and Unstoppable Force synchronizing perfectly with collateral damage. Everyone's stuck in the middle of the Gangplank ult. They have just such massive AoE power, and the Rumble ultimate being tagged with the Moonfall from Diana is nice, but it just doesn't have the oomph that 4 deadly AoE ultimates have put together.
It definitely does not. Now the red team has to recall as fast as possible, buy their items, just to ensure that the blue team doesn't rush out and go get the Baron, which it doesn't look like they're actually doing, which is mildly surprising. Because the red team was a little bit lag behind with going back and buying items. They are there now. They're coming back. They do have vision on the blue team. Now the blue team is finally going towards the Baron.
And with that ace, does Taric have a new pink eye in order to detect wards. He does not.
He does not.
Has a single ward, so that's going to help a
help,
little.
but Gangplank has pink eye, and so they're going to be able to take out all the wards. They do see 4 members of the red team before that ward goes down, so they're definitely suspicious at this point, but there is a red ward here, so they know.
Yeah, one of the main downsides to having only a pink ward is that you can't cover every single portion. We have red team looking to engage. Diana split up a little, but those slows from Rumble are definitely going to help. Jayce wasn't quite near enough to fire off his gauge for Malphite, and Gangplank didn't want to burn his Shirelias on an iffy engage with a Baron fight so close to fruition.
Exactly. Nobody wants to really start a fight here unless they're 100% sure that they can pull it off. Maybe a 90% sure, but
you know, it looks like
it's not going to be good.
It really looks like a fight's going to happen in almost the same position. They decide that they're going to try and trade towers for Baron, but they are completely caught between them. Malphite's unstoppable force, synchronizing with Gangplank's ult, the Hemo Plague again. Rumble's ult going down in the same spot. So many members of the red team are split up and getting picked off. We have Sivir dropping Gangplank, Darius dropping Vlad, Sivir getting the double kill onto Jayce. Malphite is down, Graves is running the wrong direction, but he does have a lot of damage. Sivir's very low. Her lifesteal is going to keep her up, and they manage to pick up 5 for nothing.
0.
They have a huge push opportunity right here, and Darius trying to be a hero. No one wants to follow him.
No one likes a hero. Yeah, that was an insane turnaround from the fight that we just saw prior. It was a 4-for-1 in favor of the red team, and now it's a 5-for-0 in favor of the blue team.
This game's a lot closer than it was looking, and it's impressive because
now it's completely even gold right now.
With the inhibitor going down for red team.
Absolutely ridiculous. So now the blue team really has to recall. They have to get out right now, because red team has a very easy option of taking that Baron at this point. So if they don't recall, it looks like they're just going directly for the Baron.
They're not going to pass go. They're not going to collect $200. They're going for Baron.
The ultimates are down for now, but the unstoppable force is coming really close. Uses the equalizer to farm the Baron. Now they're going to disengage from this Baron before the red team even gets there. Great job by the blue team.
They dropped it really quickly.
Yeah, they did.
And that's one of the benefits, I suppose, of having a character like Rumble in your jungle, is that he's a DPS character. Definitely. Darius is a DPS tank, Sivir's DPS, Taric is a DPS assister, and Diana's a hard-hitting mage. Yeah. When it comes to dropping Baron, they are not slouches.
Yeah, they're definitely not messing around. Overall, wonderful job. But now that they also push the middle inhibitor, their super minions are going to counteract the red team super minions. But now red team's actually going to take this dragon. They really want to stay within the realm of gold that the blue team is in. They need to make sure that the blue doesn't get an additional advantage after taking that Baron. So wonderful job. Just I can't believe that fight went the way it did. Usually when people get flanked from the back and they're pinned between a team and a tower, it really doesn't turn out well. But in this case, it turned out extremely well for the blue team.
They were all extremely low after that fight, and like you were saying earlier, we were pretty surprised during this fight, in the middle of all the ultimates going off simultaneously, that there wasn't better focus coming in from the blue team onto the red. But then it looks like they got their focus, and the fight went exactly the opposite way, with an ace and everyone at barely any health.
Exactly. So it looks like red team suffered from the same thing that the blue team did in the team fight prior. So I'm interested to see what the next one is going to be. If red team can stall out this Baron long enough, I think they may have a chance if they're able to get the focus down that they did in that that earlier fight. It's going to be very close, but it'll still be interesting. And they have a crazy amount of wave clearing with Vlad. Oh, the apprehend almost snagging that Vlad over the wall. That would have been really bad.
Gutsy little move on Darius's play, trying to sneak a kill on one of the most important players that the red team has.
Yeah, that was just... And Diana's Crescent Strike is just doing a ridiculous amount of damage as well. She does have the Spell Pen from the Abyssal Scepter and the Sword Shoes, providing her with quite a bit of overall Spell Pen.
Alright, looks like blue team wants to push the super minions deep into red team space. Their own inhibitor is back up, so that means there's not going to be a lot of opposition. They might just be going straight for the tower. They have a lot of creeps there to back them up.
Yeah, 3 super minions, that's a huge amount. They go down so quickly.
It turns out to be a bit of a distraction so that they can move back through the base and drop that tower. That's going to give them a tiny bit more of a gold lead and finally put them ahead in the tower game.
And Graves right now is sitting on almost 1,600 gold, so I'm interested to see if he actually is going to go with that Bloodthirster that he thought he was going to get earlier. I'm a little bit surprised that he's not going to go for the GA. It looks like he is going to go for that Bloodthirster, but
he really needs to be worried about that diving power of Diana. We're looking over. There's a Corellius off, but no particular engage. Smoke Bomb is blocking everything. Pokes are flying back and forth, but no one leading a hard engage. Sivir popping her ultimate, Jayce diving onto Diana. Everyone's engaging, then disengaging right away. Diana has a target over her head. Those guys want her down. Ooh, she clips a third of Graves' health off with a single Q.
Lifesteal, all that back
does
up.
the same to Vlad. That is a scary Moon Lady.
Yeah, she is. She's definitely with that much AP. She has 633 ability power. It's going to be really bad.
Apprehend onto Gangplank. Malphite coming into the unstoppable force. Same time as Vlad's Demon Blade. Diana's up in the back trying to pick somebody off. She's able to get Malphite. Darius finishes off Vlad. He's in the back line. Jayce drops to Sivir. That's 3 for 0 so far. They're continuing the dive. Taric's up in the front line. Diana with a flash into Lunar Rush. Misses her Q. But both red team members who are remaining are forced into their spawn, and that looks like it's going to be a dead Nexus turret. Are they going to go for the other one?
Looks like they will. There's only 2 people alive on the red team, and they just don't have the ability to take all these people on, especially Diana being the assassin that she is.
And we
do have a surrender vote. I think it was a surrender vote.
I don't know if they were able to drop the Nexus quite that
fast.
quickly.
Yeah, especially since they all disengaged and kind of fountain dove.
Kudos to blue team for that impressive turnaround.
Yeah.
I liked what they did at the end, splitting up so that the combination of AoE ults from the red team wasn't quite as effective.
Exactly.
Diana was on the left, kind of zoning out the people in the back line, so Graves was afraid to get in there like he needed to. And after Malphite went in on his own, Vlad tried to use his own ultimate on top of that, but they were too split up from the rest of the team to capitalize from that damage bonus.
Exactly, and it only did a little bit of extra damage. I mean, they were able to pick up Darius from that, but picking up one person from 2 ultimates is just not going to be enough in the long run.
Especially considering how much their team was centered around those AoEs. We saw it benefited them in that one Baron fight, where every ultimate from both teams went off at the exact same time, and red teams was just better.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a really, really good game. Very well played on both sides. Congratulations to the blue team and GG to the red team. Again, if you guys like my videos, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you tomorrow.
And if you want, you can follow me, Eskimo Rob, on Twitter, new to the casting, loving it, with my bro, Strider Stone. Thanks a lot for listening.
Alright, see you tomorrow, guys.